Hey y'all, good morning. Welcome back to Ascending with Ashley. I'm Ashley. This is a collective convo. I got a couple ideas for collective convos right here last night, and I thought we could go ahead and knock one out. So let's talk about displaced yanger. Displaced anger. Okay, we've been talking a lot in the readings, the collective readings. What's been coming up a lot lately is a reflection and projection card from this yin yang deck. And I think that just is what displaced anger is. What I mean by displaced is, kind of shitting on someone who didn't hurt you, right? Being annoyed or mad with people who may have similar tendencies or mannerisms or looks as someone that you are angry with, and therefore you subconsciously, for the most part, decide to be angry with them. Reflection and projection card. I think that displaced anger is something in our society. So, like, here's another example. Without people, say I'm thinking of the movie Freaky Friday, because I watched it like all day yesterday, and there's this one part where Jamie Lee Curtis goes out the wrong way of a parking lot, and they have those like tire spikes, so her tires go flat, right? But it was her fault, and she doesn't get angry in the scene at all, but I know I would. So that happens to her, and then thinking about like a car situation or a work situation or transportation situation that has happened. So like, say you're on your way to work and something happens, the bus is late, the train doesn't work, whatever, the cops give you a ticket for loitering while you're waiting for the bus or something, I don't know. So anyway, that situation is over, and now you move on to the next thing. I'm thinking of The Sims right now. Like, we're like little video game players. So now you're moved on to the next situation, right? Whether it's work or whatever. And you're pissed. You're fucking pissed because of that situation. So you talk everyone's ear off, and you tell everyone the fucking story about what happened to you, and you still can't let it go. So now the next day, you do the same thing because it's your route to work or whatever, and nothing happens, but you're still pissed, right? So you're telling like the other, people around you on the bus, like, what happened yesterday. That's displaced anger. And the thing about that is, the more people you share that with, right, it's okay to process, it's okay to share the story, but if you're processing that in this like simmering pot of anger, that energy is going to be shared with other people. Right? And so I'm thinking now of like just this line, like a zigzag of like every single person you shared that energy with because of your own anger probably brought up a similar feeling of anger within them with a situation that they experienced, just for like a reciprocal resonance or something, right? Like, oh, one time this happened to me, right? And they share back. That's how conversation works. It's relaying messages from person A and person B. But when you're in this anger, it doesn't matter what energy you're in. Like, if you're like a fucking, Care Bear unicorn as well, right? Like me, I walk around with the most optimistic viewpoint of everything, and I absorb everyone else's bullshit and transmute it back to them. That's what I do. But a lot of people don't. So when we are dealing with displaced anger, people subconsciously let it control them, and they don't realize that then. So like, let me draw you a picture. I'm getting a picture. Hang on. 7:08 today. I slipped in a little bit. Okay. Let me write this picture. Hang on. I just want us to understand the ripple effect. Okay, anger. stick figures are super cute today because they're mad. Okay. This is you having that experience we just talked about. And this is you telling all these other people. And then those people are going to tell other people. Guess what happened to this person? Oh my god, you remember when this happened to me? Yeah, well, this person had this experience today, so it made me think of it. Oh my gosh, I'm still mad about that, right? Shit like that. So, like, these are the zigzags I was seeing in my brain. I know it didn't really come out that great. But I want you to understand. So this is all anger energy. This is all, like, this frenzy, anger, upset, and it's low vibe, okay? But when we're mad about one thing, okay, this person's, and this is just someone who's sharing the story. A lot of people don't even have the consciousness to not project on people, and that's what projections are. They are just this shitting on people because of your own situation. Okay, so this person's mad about their transportation, okay? And then it caused all this other stuff. And it brought up trauma or an anger response in every single person you share the story with, because that's misery. Misery loves company. Okay? I love these pens. I need to get more of them. Anyway. So when we are out in the world, when we are out in public, and we experience someone's anger, either them sharing a story, and then when we go home, do we take that anger home with us? That's one thing that happened in my marriage. My baby daddy was like an air sign, and he would often come home very hot-headed and pissed off about something all the time. I can't do that. I did for a while, but it became way too much for me because, like I said, I'm like a Care Bear unicorn out here. I grew up on that pony show. What's that pony show? Ponytails? I don't know. No, that's anyway, ponytails are a thing. But anyway, when we have anger and when we share our anger out of frustration, need for validation, need for people. I'm thinking very much of my mother. My mother exists in the world this way. Anytime anything happens to her, she must call at least 10 people and share the story the exact same way for reaction. That's seeking external validation. Displaced anger is very dangerous, but when we recognize what it is, so like all of these 3 people who were told this story and shared this experience with this person, probably don't realize why they started vibrating lower, and probably didn't even notice, because most people don't understand this shit. It's not that big of a deal. Again, karma is what you get, what you give, you get, right? But, within that, there's human interaction. Again, we are electromagnetic beings, okay? Our heart space has an electric field, a magnetic field of like 23 feet or something. So when someone's pissed, okay, when someone has adrenaline, when someone has nerves or fear or pissed anger, and you're in close proximity to them, subconsciously, magnetically, you pick up on that energy. And then that triggers your brain because your heart is going, your heart starts going a little crazy, and your brain's like, why? What's going on here? And then that person shares that story with you, And then that makes your brain be like, oh, we had a similar experience that one time. You remember we were so mad. Oh, gosh. Oh, man, I thought we let that go, but no, I remember. And then you start having your own reaction to the situation. And then it causes, like, this, I'm getting Eeyore, like this black cloud. Eeyore had depression. I always resonate with in certain spaces. But anyway, I hope that makes sense. So when we have anger about a situation and we share that anger, whether it's even just sharing the story, now I'm not really talking about abusive situations, but I guess we could. So this situation that I'm sharing is just like an everyday occurrence that people are subconsciously unaware of. Displaced anger within abuse is obviously more extreme, especially within like narcissist tendencies or narcissism straight up. Again, we don't really believe in the DSM over here, but we do believe that sometimes people are fucking dicks, okay? And there are words for that, alright? Anyway, I think a lot of anger or things that adults have happened to them, you know, because even with this transportation situation, something else was triggered. And that's why we integrate our shadow. We want to understand. Well, I like to understand everyone's darkness. That's kind of what I enjoy doing. I like we talked about yesterday, I do trauma scans in people's energy because of my own, I don't know, my gifts. I can look at someone, feel their energy, and understand what they have been through in life and why they are the way they are within a few minutes. It's very cool. I like it. But I usually don't talk about it. Yesterday was the first day I shared that. Anyway, when people within abusive situations, so like, if this is kind of resonating, this part, I would say go check out some of the other collective convos. I'm specifically getting the mommy issue, or the daddy issues, and, or daddy complex and mother wounds. I don't remember what I named it. But anyway, a lot of our displaced anger is childhood wounds or things that happened to us when we were little that we never, you know, got validation for from the adults around us, and that just turned into its own monster within us, right? I'm getting that song from Rihanna and Eminem. Is it Monsters Under the Bed or whatever? So that's kind of the vibe. But when we have that like fury within us, and like a slight inconvenience happens, then we freak out from a space of a long time ago versus what the actual situation was. And that is how we impact others with that anger. Now all of these people are angry, and they're gonna share that anger, okay, with the people around them. This is also an this is also an organizing method called the snowflake method from the Obama campaign. It's a field organizing technique that we use, where one person shares with one person and then they share with their network. This is called the snowflake method. It works for good stuff too, right? So, you know, if you want to be like a rainbow, you know, unicorn, dragon, Care Bear like me, it also works that way. Okay, so some of us are out here combating these kinds of energies by not existing this way in public. It goes both ways, okay? Not just both, all right? Whatever feeling you're feeling, remember we're electromagnetic beings, okay? That's why I don't hang out with people, quite frankly, because I am an energetic sponge. Once you come into consciousness, you have access to other gifts, and you understand things at a very deep level. Like, my intuition and I can have a very quick conversation. Sorry about that elastic pull, but anyway, my intuition and I can have a brief conversation and know if someone is good or not. And I believe everyone has these gifts. It's just a matter of becoming conscious of the way you are and why you are. Okay. We didn't really delve into. I don't really feel like I need to go extremes into abuse. It's this, right? If you've been with an abuser, which I feel like a lot of us have been, especially if you're on my channel, we're underdogs over here. That anything can set off an abuser, right? Displaced anger. And I think victims of abuse can also be triggered and work from a space of displaced anger too. Like, say a family dynamic, single mom, okay, like I am a single mom, gets angry with the child because of the resentment for the other parent or something like that. I think that's very common. I'm thinking of that Stay Together for the Kids song by Blink-182 about divorce. And all of the kids, like the teenagers in that video, coming from broken homes. I think a lot of that family dynamic, it's very common because the nuclear family is kind of a psyop. It was kind of an experiment that is failing horribly, right? Putting people in silos and shit. But anyway, displaced anger, once you're conscious of it, whether it's showing up for you or whether you're experiencing it from, someone else, remember that people project onto others what they are unwilling to work on within. Okay? And once you can just hold that, then hopefully you can become a transmuter of this energy. And let me draw you what that looks like. So we still have this angry person, but instead of, and they're going to talk to you, okay, oops, okay. It's a very elementary picture. I like it. Okay, so this is what I do in the world. Like I already said, when we learn how to transmute, which is first and foremost not taking anyone's bullshit personally, recognizing it as a projection, not allowing ourselves to stoop down to that level and share if we do share an experience, if you're having this interaction, instead of being like, oh, that happened to me, I was so mad, share an inspirational story with them. Be like, oh wow, yeah, I totally I feel you. That sucks. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. One time I had something similar happen, and this is how I got over it, right? Sharing a solution is first and foremost when we're in these interactions. So this is what you do. You hear the anger, and then you transmute it into stars, butterflies, peace signs, hearts, and flowers and rainbows. Instead of allowing that vibration to shackle you in a space of despair, it's like, I'm getting the water drops off of a duck, off of feathers. We just allow it to roll. So just remember, some of us are out here transmuting displaced anger. I really like working with devilish people because I don't know, I just do. I like working with people who have a lot of darkness. Probably because I am a fucking Care Bear. Like, I'm like the Jerry Garcia Beanie Baby, but as a Care Bear. Do you guys remember that one? It was tie-dye. Anyway, I'm gonna let you go. Whatever you're mad about, it's just a passing moment. And I think that's the thing too. Allowing anger. We talked about righteous rage. This isn't that. I'm not talking about righteous rage. We're talking about anger that can be toxic. Again, just allowing yourself to understand how projections work will ultimately get you out of this space and allow people to be angry. But trying to help them out. I think a lot of people don't want to help angry people, and I think understanding that, you know, maybe this situation stemmed from they were a little kid and they missed the bus and they got suspended, you know, and then their mom lost their job and they lost their housing because she had to stay home from work because they were suspended, and then they were homeless, right? Like, you have no idea what can trigger what memories. We also have no idea what people have been through in their life. So just extending empathy and compassion and understanding to someone who's coming at you with anger, even if they are like being really nasty to you, which we didn't really talk about, but yeah, like, so say this person didn't tell any of these people what happened to them, they just had a nasty interaction with them, right? They didn't tell them about missing the bus. They just, you know, this person was waiting for the elevator door and they were like, nope, fuck you, and closed the door, right? That's going to impact their day. All of those things. So I think we've hit this home. Email me if you have any questions. Okay, bye.